What if the scariest thing in any horror story wasn't the monster? What if it was you? Silent Hill is one of the most influential horror franchises ever made, but here's something that doesn't get talked about nearly enough. The game didn't invent its nightmare from scratch. A huge part of its DNA comes directly from a 1990 film called Jacob's Ladder. And once you see the connection, you genuinely cannot unsee it. Today, we're breaking down exactly how a psychological war drama turned into the blueprint for one of gaming's darkest worlds, and why both stories are really about the same thing: guilt and what it does to a person when they refuse to let it go. Let's get into it. For most of horror history, the threat came from outside: a killer in the woods, a creature under the bed, something alien, something other. The formula worked because distance is comforting. If the monster is out there, then maybe, just maybe, you're safe in here. Jacob's Ladder broke that formula completely. The film follows Jacob Singer, a Vietnam veteran living in New York City, who starts experiencing terrifying visions: distorted faces, demonic figures, flickering hallways that shouldn't exist. And the genius of it is that the film never lets you get your footing. You don't know what's real. You don't know what's memory. You don't know if Jacob is losing his mind, being haunted, or something far worse. The horror isn't a monster you can run from. It's the architecture of Jacob's own trauma, collapsing inward. Team Silent, the developers behind the original Silent Hill, cited Jacob's Ladder directly as a core influence, and you can feel it immediately. The foggy streets of Silent Hill aren't just atmosphere. They're the first sign that something in the mind has gone wrong. Environmental distortion as a symptom, the world breaking down, because the person inside it is breaking down. That's not a haunted town. That's a psych. Now here's where it gets visceral. Both Jacob's Ladder and Silent Hill share a very specific visual language. It's not the clean, gothic horror of vampires or the slick darkness of sci-fi. It's something wetter, more biological, industrial, and organic at the same time. Meat and metal, flickering lights, bodies that move wrong. In Jacob's Ladder, the hospital sequences are some of the most disturbing scenes ever committed to film. Jacob is wheeled through corridors where the staff don't look quite human, where the walls feel like they're breathing, where the boundary between a medical facility and a slaughterhouse has completely dissolved. It's guilt and fear, given a physical form. Now think about the Otherworld in Silent Hill 2. The rusted metal, the chain link, the nurses moving in that broken, jerking pattern, the walls that look like skin. It is the same visual grammar, transplanted into an interactive medium. And this matters, because these aren't just aesthetic choices, they're philosophical ones. The ugliness of these environments is intentional. The message is, this is what unresolved trauma looks like from the inside. It's not beautiful, it's not romantic, it's infected tissue, something that needed to be treated, and wasn't. Pyramid Head is the most famous example. He doesn't chase you because he wants to kill you. He chases you because James Sunderland created him. He is punishment made physical, a manifestation of a man who believes, on some deep level, that he deserves to suffer. Jacob's demons work exactly the same way. They aren't external. They are mirrors. And it's worth slowing down for. Neither Silent Hill nor Jacob's Ladder is really about a place. They're about a state. Specifically, the state of being trapped between what happened and what you're willing to admit happened. Theologians and philosophers across cultures have a word for this: purgatory. Not necessarily in the Catholic sense, but in the broader sense. A transitional space where the soul is neither at rest nor fully condemned. It's waiting. It's stuck. Jacob Singer is stuck between his life and his death, between his love for his family and the horror of what he witnessed in Vietnam. The town of Silent Hill holds James Sunderland in exactly the same grip. The geography shifts, the rooms loop, time doesn't behave, because this isn't a road you can navigate. It's an emotional weight that has been given coordinates. And crucially, both stories use the unreliable narrator to devastating effect. You are never fully certain what is real, and that uncertainty isn't a flaw in the storytelling. It is the storytelling. Because trauma does exactly that. It destabilizes your relationship with your own memories. It makes you question what actually happened, and what your guilt has rewritten. These settings function as spiritual waiting rooms. You are not meant to explore them. You are meant to reckon with them. So how do you escape a prison built from your own mind? Both stories give the same answer, and it's not a comfortable one. You don't fight your way out. You accept your way out. In Jacob's Ladder, there's a line from Jacob's chiropractor that cuts right to the core of it. He tells Jacob that the demons aren't trying to drag him to hell. The demons are actually trying to shake loose everything he's clinging to. If you make peace with what happened, the demons have nothing to hold. They dissolve. Silent Hill 2's ending system works on the same principle. The outcome of the game isn't determined by how well you fight. It's determined by how honest you are, how closely you pay attention, how willing you are to look at what James actually did and sit with it, rather than running from room to room, pretending there's a monster to blame. The Leave ending, widely considered the most redemptive, isn't triumphant. It's quiet. It's James, finally able to carry his grief without being consumed by it. Not healed, not absolved, just released. That's the horror of the self in its purest form. The resolution isn't a boss fight. It's a confession. Jacob's Ladder and Silent Hill redefined what horror could mean. They took the genre and pointed it inward. And in doing so, they created something that doesn't just scare you, it stays with you. Because, unlike the monster in the woods, this kind of horror is recognizable. We've all got rooms in ourselves we'd rather not open. What makes these stories timeless is that they were asking questions about mental health, trauma, and guilt long before those words became part of everyday conversation. They were ahead of their time in the most unsettling way possible. So the next time you're walking through Silent Hill's fog, or watching Jacob's world tear itself apart at the seams, remember, the town didn't do this. The demons didn't do this. The protagonist did. And that, more than anything, is why you can't look away. If this video got under your skin the way these games get under mine, drop a comment below. I want to know which ending of Silent Hill 2 hit you hardest, and why. And if you're new here, subscribe. See you in the fog.